Hello everyone and welcome to my review of the Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra. Samsung's S21 lineup of phones is here a little earlier than usual, along with some differences compared to previous years. Firstly, out of the box, only USB-C to C cable. Could receive our friends at Apple. No charging block, no earphones. I think this is going to become the new standard. The phone itself is a matte finish, coming in multiple colors. Here I have the Phantom Black and the Phantom Silver. I think both look really good, especially the silver. I actually personally expected not to like the black, but the new black that they've spent 3 minutes on their presentation talking about is actually quite nice. The matte frosted glass back has a nice touch to it and doesn't collect fingerprints like magnets. The silver has a finish that kind of changes with the light that hits it, kind of like the Aura Glow in the Note 10 Plus. Obviously no headphone jack, but that's expected at this point in 2021. The new design with the camera bump fusing onto the sides looks very sleek and slick. I actually really like the physical build and design of this year's S21 Ultra. Overall, they've added a few new features as well, such as the director's view that might be useful for vloggers, and the zoom lock that makes taking zoomed in shots easier, especially with the 100x space zoom on this model. A notable missing feature, however, is the support for microSD card, which can either be entirely useless to you if you've transitioned mostly to cloud storage, or an absolute deal breaker for many professionals and enthusiasts that have come to rely on the expansion provided by having a microSD slot. In the grand scheme of things, I don't actually see the microSD card costing Samsung any more than 20 cents a unit to manufacture, especially at the volume that they're manufacturing these phones at, so I don't really know why they've removed it. Seems like a weird omission. Other minor changes have been made, like the slightly larger fingerprint scanner. That being said, the removal of the microSD card slot does force consumers to pay for a higher storage model than they would normally need. However, one new feature I can see being extremely important and really nice is the variable refresh rate brought in the screen. On the S21 Ultra, you're getting between 10Hz and 120Hz, offering the perfect balance between performance when you need it and battery life when you don't need the display. This explains the all-day battery that I've been able to achieve with the phone, even with heavy gaming, navigation, and streaming. You can probably make this a 2-day phone if you just do simple things like emails and text with it. For most people, the screen is going to be one of the best displays in your house. At 1440p, it gets plenty bright even under sunlight. The colors are vibrant and beautiful, which makes it a nice media viewing device, especially when paired with the loud stereo speakers. Speaking of the screen, this screen actually supports the S Pen now, which I personally think is a really cool feature. While it's not built in the actual phone, it lets you interact with the display in otherwise impossible ways, while not taking up any space for the battery, unlike the Note series. I think this would be perfect for students or people who work from home, where there's specific use cases that will require a pen, like taking notes or noting a document, but you don't need one on you all the time. Performance on this phone is amazing, with the current Snapdragon 888 model being able to run games perfectly fine. One thing of note though is if you run without a case on this phone, it does get really hot, especially in the region next to the camera, so if your fingers are rested there while you're gaming, it might be a little uncomfortable. Other than that though, this one is an extremely heavy lifter with no noticeable lag when using this phone. On the software side of things, it's the usual Samsung skin over Android, One UI 3.0. Over the years I've come to really like this software. They've come a long way since their TouchWiz days. They have increasingly better support for updates, as well as an abundance of features that they've been adding in. I think their picture-in-picture control is one of the best in market. And while the software could be a little more clean, it is one of the better Android stock skins. Cameras are definitely really important for any flagship. But as with any flagship lately, it actually comes down mainly to preference and color science based on the different companies now. Unlike last year's S20 Ultra, which had a bit of a focusing issue, this one has laser autofocus, which means focusing on is a lot clearer and a lot easier. There are now 5 lenses on the back of the unit, a 3x telephoto lens, a 10x telephoto lens, a huge 108 megapixel main sensor, and an ultra-wide. The ultra-wide is fantastic on this phone, and the night photography has gone even better, making it one of the best at taking nighttime ultra-wide photos, and even nighttime photos in general. Overall, this setup is an extremely efficient setup that should please both pros and home photographers alike. As far as video quality goes, these phones can actually technically shoot up to 8K video, but it's not very usable at all. I still think that iPhones sit at the lead for video quality, but Samsung is slowly catching up. Alright, surprise guys. This whole video, save for some B-roll that includes both the silver and the black phones at the same time, is taken from the cameras of the S21 Ultra at 4K 60 FPS. The video you see of me is the selfie camera, and every B-roll shot in this video is the back camera. So you can be the judge for yourself on how you like the quality. There will be no visual video edits on this video, so you can have an accurate idea of how the video looks like. Overall, I really like this phone, but certain notable omissions make this phone feel less ultra than it really is. By removing the SD card, Samsung has ostracized a certain market that they used to hold. On the bright side, it's really nice to see Samsung cutting down on the prices of all their phones. As improvements in mobile phone technology in this form factor slow down, I think it's important to see the price of the phones dropping, making nicer technology more accessible to the masses. This year, Samsung has reserved many of the nicer features onto the Ultra. So if you want to get the S21 or S21 Plus, you might be missing out on some of those features. For example, you'd be missing on a higher end display or even S Pen support. On top of that, there's the omission of the micro SD card slot that many people like to use, so that's something to keep in mind. Ultimately, this is a fantastic phone, and it should be at the cost they're demanding. But if you're looking for the best Android phone currently out and you don't necessarily need a micro SD card, this is the phone for you. Alright, other than that, thanks for watching again. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and take care. Bye-bye now.